touch the sky. In the city of angels, feels like I'm coming home. With my head up in the clouds, I am searching for something, and I'm still hoping. 'Cause I wanna be in, not out, wanna make this all count. Yes, I wanna go crazy now, gonna make this all count. Feeling like a rock star, 'cause tonight I'm getting out of line and it's alright. Feeling like feeling like just as cool as John Wayne in his movies. Feeling like I'm James Dean and I know it. Feeling like feeling like a rock star. Feeling like a rock star. Feeling like a rock star. Feeling like a rock star.
But it's not that easy. You're complicating things for me. No, it's not that easy. Maybe just a little time can heal me, but it doesn't feel the way. What are you doing to me? Why'd you break my heart? Left me in the dark, dark. Why'd you have to go? I don't wanna feel this way. Though I'm broken, I'm still hoping I could be with you. I'm still breathing, it's not easy. I'm just a fool for you. I'm just that stupid. Maybe just a little time can make you change your mind about us. I thought that we were meant to be. Why'd you break my heart? Left me in the dark, dark. Why'd you have to go? I don't wanna feel this way. Though I'm broken, I'm still hoping I could be with you. I'm still breathing, it's not easy. I'm just a fool for you. I'm just a fool for you. I'm just a fool for you. For you. For you.
La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la la la. Hey, I've got you on my mind. Yeah, you're all that I think about. You know you got me going wild, and what I want is you. Could you come a little closer? I want you by my side, and I'll try the best I can to make you feel this way. Don't let me down, down, down. It could be you and I want you now, 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 now. Come let me hold you now. I wanna lay in your arms. Come let me love you now. Yeah, you're the one that I want. I wanna stay here. I wanna stay here with you. I wanna stay here with you. La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la. I wanna stay here with you. La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la. I wanna stay here with you. Tell me what you wanna do. Yeah, 'cause I'd do anything. I just wanna be with you. How can you make me feel this way? Don't let me down, down, down. It could be you and I want you now, 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 now. Come let me hold you now. I wanna lay in your arms. Come let me love you now. Yeah, you're the one that I want. I wanna stay here. I wanna stay here with you. I wanna stay here with you. La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la. I wanna stay here with you. La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la. I wanna stay here with you. I just wanna hear you say that you want me to. I told you I can't get you off my mind. Come let me hold you now. I wanna lay in your arms. Come let me love you now. Yeah, you're the one that I want. I wanna stay here. I wanna stay here with you. I wanna stay here with you. La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la. I wanna stay here with you.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to Tuesday Night Studio Sessions. My name is Sean. I'll be your host. Tonight I'm coming to you on the Blackmagic Micro Cinema camera. It's a tiny little camera. I tested it out last night, and I loved what I saw. Even though my live stream is 1080, it's like really poor quality streamed 1080. So I really wish y'all could see what's on my screen, but I'm going to take this camera out and play around with it outside, get some really cool shots with it. Maybe do some tracking shots of me using the camera and stuff like that, just so you can see how tiny it is. It's only a 1080 camera, but the 1080 that comes out of this camera is so good. I'm just going to say that it's so good. If you guys remember the, was it the Sony RX0 that I reviewed on this channel maybe 4 or 5 years ago? That was only a 1080 camera. But the images out of that were amazing. Just had issues with autofocus, which this has no autofocus either. So we're back in the same boat, but at least I have a focus ring on the lens that I can adjust. So we're going to rig it up with my, my Ninja 5 and create just a really cool looking tiny camera. And then we're going to go out and play with it. But let me know if you guys can see me. Let me know if you can hear me. Yeah, I saw there's a lot of people talking about the weather. What's up with this weather, y'all? It got up to 68 degrees today, almost 70 degrees. And it was very windy at times, and then other times there's hardly any wind at all. But it's hard to believe that, just a month ago, we had crazy winds and it felt like negative 15 degrees here in Nashville. So yeah, I'm a little tired tonight. Had a long work day. And this was my first day back because we had Martin Luther King Day off yesterday. But yeah, hopefully we'll have a pretty good stream tonight. I've put an invite on the club. So if you're a member of the club, you can go over to the club and grab that link, and you can be a guest on tonight's show, and we can hang out and talk. If not, I'm going to talk more in depth about this little camera that I just got. If you guys remember I think it was probably a month ago. But I saw this camera that I'd never heard of before on Facebook Marketplace. I'd been looking for a Blackmagic 4K or 6K camera, and this little guy just showed up on the showed up on Facebook, and I was like, man, what is that thing? I started looking it up. They make a 4K version, but the 4K version doesn't have any internal recording at all. It really just has like an SDI output, an HDMI output, and you can stream over to a recording device, which I have. But I decided but SDI on the camera is the only thing that records in 4K. So I was like, I don't have anything that I can do with an SDI cable. I have things with SDI cables on them, but they're really just outputs, no inputs that record. So I wanted to stay in the HDMI genre. And my mentality when I bought the C100, which is this guy. Oh my gosh. So this is the C100. It only shoots 1080p. Okay. It shoots ridiculous 1080p, but it only shoots 1080p. And a lot of people use this camera to make documentaries, to make short films, stuff like that. But since it didn't record 4K, I had, I was using that camera that I spent almost $2,000 on as a live stream camera. And even though this live stream is what I do most on my channel, I live stream more than I make videos now. But I was looking on Facebook and this little micro camera came up. He had it for $800. And at the time I offered him $400, and I was like, because I was thinking about it, like, I'm not going to spend more than $400 on this little camera. Like, there's no need, because I couldn't find any YouTube videos on it. I mean, like, very rare. Just a handful of videos on this little camera. It came out a while ago. It was the camera after the original pocket camera from Blackmagic, before the 4K and the 6K came out, which are stupid to call them pocket cameras because they can't fit in anybody's pocket, unless maybe you have like one of those big hoodies with like the big huge pockets you can fit both your hands in. You might be able to fit it in one of those pockets. So anyway, I was like, because I don't plan on using the C100 anymore, just because it's only a 1080 camera. And I was like, if I freed up the C100, I could sell it and then buy something else for the channel. So anyway, the guy marked it down to 600, and I still offered him 400 because I knew he was having a hard time selling it. And I don't think a lot of people I don't think anybody knows what that camera is. And the ones that I saw on eBay that had sold were around $400, $500. So I was like, I'm really not going to spend more than that on this camera. Well, I reached out to him yesterday. I think it was yesterday. I reached out to him and I said, good morning. And he said, the camera's still available. And I said, would you take $400? And he said, he counter offered with the $500. And that's the cheapest he's been on the camera. And so I thought about it and I was like, I'll definitely get $500 back once I sell that C100. So I did that. He was like, I found all these accessories for it, so I have no need for them. So I'm just going to put all those in. And I was like, okay, cool. Well, the accessories that he gave me, one was a small, I'll show you the picture of the camera. I've got it up on the club right now. Why did it log me out? I'm getting Weather Channel updates. I don't know what's going on out there. Yeah, let's do that. So I ended up putting these photos up in the club so that I could show them on the live stream tonight. If I was on my Mac, I could just like airdrop them. But then I was like, tonight I was like, I don't want to, email the pictures to this computer and then do all that. But the camera is just this little guy right here. Okay. Then I put it on a cage. I've got a 18 to 55 kit lens on the front. I don't need, like for this live stream, I don't need a super expensive crispy lens because it's going to be so compressed anyway. So that's what's going on there. He gave the small rig cage has this wooden handle on the side of it. It was pretty cool. And then I've got it hanging from my bunk bed that has all my boxes and stuff on top of it. So what I love about what just happened in the last 2 days is that in the past, I've had this huge camera on a huge tripod in that area. And I wasn't too happy with, like, I've got to like go back there and I can barely squeeze around this huge tripod and all that stuff. But this camera weighs, it doesn't weigh much, and I can hang it from the bunk bed. And we're good to go. I've got it plugged in, so it's plugged in and charging. I've got the HDMI cable coming out of the side of it. I'll give you a front view. So that's what it looks like. I took that picture from this chair, so that's what it looks like for me. But the camera itself, if you took the rig away, the camera itself is really just here, and that kit lens is pretty big. So I decided to throw a kit lens on it tonight because I was kind of in a hurry to get this frame behind me, to get all this to look good and be in the right position and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. So by next week, I'll have taken it off of the bunk bed and I'll have to recalibrate everything. So the next couple of weeks is going to look a little bit different. They make this thing, it's like a blue condor maybe, but it's like a quick release that you put on, where you can like put handles on your rig or put like a battery, or like they make these quick release. So I'm thinking about putting a quick release on this small rig magic arm, just so that I can snap my camera in real quick without having to because there's 2 ball heads. So once I unscrew that ball, it's really hard to just take this apart. There's no easy way to just take that apart. So that's the plan there. But let me see if I can zoom in. Nope, don't want to do that. Oh, we can. That's too far. I wish I could kind of. All right, we can do that. So the other things that there's one thing that I don't like about the camera. It's really meant to be like controlled. So if you have like a guy at the sound booth, or you have a guy at the video booth, like at a concert or something like that, you can create this little part right here with all these wires. This is a VGA cable, maybe. It's very similar to a VGA cable if it's not. And then all of these wires have different things on them. I believe there's 4 like servos. So you could like run, like you could put different buttons to different things. One could be like your iris, one could be your shutter, and you could like change those things on the fly with buttons coming out of this cable. And then this is the HDMI cable. So if you guys are familiar with how big an HDMI cable is, that's the HDMI cable on this camera. So it takes up like 1/3 of the height of this camera. So it's a super tiny little camera. The lens is bigger than, I'll go back to this picture. Like the lens is longer than the camera itself. And I wish I would have I wish I'd have taken a picture without the lens on it, but I did find a picture that was, where's it at? I found a picture that was very, this is a really cool shot of, being able to put this camera up somewhere crazy. This one has it up on This is probably the Blackmagic site. But the example here is putting it on top of a basketball goal and getting a really cool shot of the basketball goal, and having this cable come off and being able to control it from somewhere else. Let's see what other images. So that's what the camera, that's a close up of the camera. Okay, so that's all they got here. Oh, got some assets here. So, so anyway, so that's what I'm coming to you tonight on. What I love about this little camera is it takes an SD card. You can record 1080 RAW in this tiny little package. So I'm going to be putting it on sliders. I'm going to put it on a wire. I forget what it's called, cable cam. And I'm going to shoot it through the woods and see what I can get through there. It is pretty heavy though, so it might like bounce back and forth and stuff like that. So I'll have to figure that out. But yeah, yeah. So let's go through roll call. Let's see who's here in the house. Eat More Possum was first. We chatted a little bit about putting the micro on a gimbal. And I have an example that's pretty awesome. I'll show you that in a minute. Who else we got? Steven Drones was next. JC Flying was third. JC said, "Hey y'all," and that was shocking. And then he went to say, "Oh hell, I've been in the South too long. I meant hey yous." So that's pretty funny. Chuck's in the house. Mr. Kovaction. One Vision Ariel is in the house. So this is where Eat More Possum said, "My new," in quotes, Blackmagic Microcam would work nicely on the gimbal, in a gimbal on the quad I'm building. I'm going to talk about a little bit about gimbals because I was looking at, I'm definitely going to fly it on a gimbal in my hands. But I've been trying to figure out how I can put it on my Inspire and fly it. I don't know if I'm totally going to do that or not because by the time, if the camera fell and the lens and the Inspire, like that's a lot of things that I like and don't want to breaking. So I might do that. I might just keep this camera on the ground. I did see where someone put it on the FPV quad. I'm not going to play it here because I don't have permission from the guy that made the video. So I'm not going to play it on the live stream, but I'm definitely going to put a link in the club and show you guys that video because it's really cool. Let's see who else we got in the house. More Possum, JC Flying. I don't remember if I said you or not. I think I did. Oh yeah, because you said hey y'all. Chuck. I'm in the house. Pretty awesome. Charles Gillespie's in the house. What's up, man? Hope you're having a good night. Doug Max in the house. What's up? Chris is here. He says he's not here. So he's present or president. Recovery One Drones in the house. What's up? Hope you're having a good evening. So I think Chris thinks I look jaundiced today. A little yellowish green. I'm working on it, Chris. I think there's adjustments that I can make in my Roland. Because there's not too much you can do out of the HDMI. Like I can really just set a white balance, and the menu on the system on the camera is like up or down. So there's like a bunch of presets in there, and then you push up or down. So I go to white balance, and I'm like, I put the Kelvin level in the white balance, and then I go to shutter angle, and I can do that. I've got it to auto exposure on shutter angle. So, and then I set my eyes. No, wait. I set my shutter, and then no, that's right. Shutter angle is what the auto exposure is on, and the ISO is what is auto. Because I really didn't want to mess with, the flickering lights in the background. They're doing pretty good. There is a little bit of waver. I don't know if that's the lights like bouncing off of each other or what, but anyway, I think I've got everybody. So Chuck says, what's the new DJI mic? We'll look that up tonight. We'll find out and see. I am excited about now that I have this camera, I'm excited about the new gimbal. Last week I didn't care, but now I'm like, it'd be a tiny gimbal with a tiny camera on it. Go out and do some vlogging with it. All right, people are starting to talk about it. All right. So the when DJI released their wireless mic system, it had two microphones in it. Just like so, Rode did the opposite thing. They released what I have, which is just the Rode Wireless Go, right? And then they had a Rode Wireless Go 2, which you could have one on you and one on the person you're talking to. So if you're in like an interview situation, that's what DJI did first, is they came out with a mic and as a two-person compact digital. The new release is the compact digital wireless microphone system recorder. And it also looks like it doesn't have, well, let's go in here. Let's see what all the pictures look like. So this is the microphone, and this is the receiver. I thought it didn't have a screen on it, but that does look like a screen on top. Let's see if they have. I think it's weird that they don't have any pictures with that screen on. That definitely looks like a screen up there. Let's see if any of these. Oh yeah, there is a screen. So let's Okay, so the original DJI wireless mic had had different channels on it because there were 2 channels coming in on the transmitter. But so this readout looks almost identical to the Rode wireless, the original Rode wireless, because you had a battery level, you had a signal level, and then you also had a volume level that's coming in. And so as you're talking, this meter will go up and down, and it'll probably go yellow and red over on this side. It looks like the same size. I don't know that receiver is much, or the transmitter is much different. Yep, it looks the same to me. I don't remember if the first one. Let's see what customer images look like. So that's not a customer image. So it looks like B&H, the customer images have the original in there. But I will say that this one has a nice little bag, whereas the OG came with a battery system. So it had a battery charger where you could charge everything all in one little box. And that is not with, doesn't come with the new one. And it is $110 cheaper. But it looks like the specs are all the same. Connects to cameras or iPhones or Android phones. I mean, the key features are all the same. So, yeah, it looks like they just made a cheaper version that doesn't come with a battery charger and doesn't come with a way to talk to someone else. So, so Emor Possum said I look a little tad greenish. That's all. This is all good feedback, y'all. I can also change the color balance on my lighting as well. So, I wonder if I turn that blue off, if I still be green. Let me go change that real quick. All right, am I still greenish? All right, now I'm going to change this lighting to soft, not warm, but cool. All right, so that's all the tinkering we're going to do tonight. Let me know if I'm still green. I noticed whenever I started reviewing GoPro cameras that I would look a little greenish. Oh, we got a guest in the house.
Okay.
What's up, man?
Let me get my volume going here. I don't know if you guys can hear me or not. I can't hear anything you guys are doing. Okay, there we go.
Yep. I if you can turn it up a little bit more, maybe.
Interesting. Might be on my end.
I'm trying to figure out what you got on. It's like a.
No, I can't hear you. I mean, I can
You
speak
can't hear me at
close to
all?
my mic.
Yeah, I got you. I turned you up pretty hot though
And
on
let's
my
see
end.
here. Output to speakers. Communication USB stereo.
Check, check. You to check yourself before you wreck
Okay,
yourself.
I think I got it here. Here we
1
go.
2 1 2.
There we go.
You got
There's a
me?
setting on my side. Yeah, I got you now. There's a setting
All
on
right.
my side.
So what's going on, man?
Not much. Like I said, I caught a little bit of your testing yesterday. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, well, the two cameras you had set up there, and you're talking about the different lighting and stuff. And I was explaining to Chris, Sunrise Water Media, why you chose this camera. I believe you said that this had more potential for future projects than what you want to do with it compared to the other cameras. So, yeah. Now, if anybody's interested, I'm using what we consider a budget camera. It's by Anchor, which makes a lot of USB charging port things.
Yeah.
It's about $50 camera here, but it's capable of doing 4K, 2.7K on this one. But I really like the color saturation on it.
Yeah.
On
Yeah,
this.
that curtain behind you and then the walls a little brown.
Right, and the walls are actually a little tannish color, and that curtain is a we call that, I don't know, a bluish green color.
Yep.
So the color accuracy in this one I really like. Now I did pick up a tiny what do you call this thing? The Osbot.
Yep.
I did pick this up also. So I have this, which is capable of streaming at 4K, and so to speak. And see, oh, there you go.
Yep. I don't have the 4K version. This is the OG. This is the original.
Okay, really, yeah. I have the 4K version, which I bought that for work. So I do videos at work because I like the way it locks onto you, and it can pan and tilt as you may move around yourself. So that's why I picked that up for doing videos at work.
Yeah, I've tried to do a review on every Osbot camera. I had I got the Turtle. Have you seen the Turtle?
No, I haven't seen the Turtle.
So there, the original Osbot, which is like, it's a camera. It's not a webcam. So it can like record to an SD card. And it has all these little nodes on the bottom of it that you screw into a remote control like rover. But the Turtle controls the rover. So you know how like your camera can track you like left to right, up and down, or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
This one drives, and so you can start walking, and it'll drive.
Oh wow! Oh, so basically it's like a dolly, built-in dolly camera. You know,
Yep.
You move, it moves. Okay.
Got these big like off-road tires and suspension and stuff.
Yeah.
But every video was from like the ground.
Right.
So it was just a bunch of videos of my butt. And I'm like, what is the purpose of this?
Well, I guess if you're doing micro work, which is usually close to the ground, shots like that, it would come in handy if somebody was using it for an RC car.
But like there's no way to control it without like it tracking, like it just tracks things. It doesn't like there's no like remote control where you can drive it. So if you could like do it FPV and like drive it around, and then the camera, you could draw like a green square around whatever you want to track, and then you could drive behind a car or something. I think that would be cool. But I rode my bicycle, I walked, and it was just nobody wants to look at that.
Picture your butt, huh?
Right. And maybe if I was tracking like a hottie or something, it would be good.
Yeah.
Nobody
like I said, it gives you a different perspective. And that's why I always I look at different cameras for that reason. I said, can I use this to just give me a different perspective? Like you talking about gimbals and stuff. You know, why we use gimbals? Use a gimbal along with a model stick, and then you have an extended thing where you can use the gimbal, control that while you got an extended model pod and stuff. And just like I was talking with Chuck the other day about my slide pod. I've had a slide pod for about a little over a year now, and I've used it about maybe 2 or 3 different times. It is a nice tool to have when I want to do something like that. I have to be more creatively thinking to want to incorporate that piece of equipment in more of my shots. But like you
Yeah.
said, when you talk about ground camera stuff, everything has to be staged though.
Yeah.
You gotta set it up, do this, do that, and okay, let's go. And then like, okay, stop, change positions, set up, set up, set up, set up, let's go, catch it from this perspective. So that's the only thing about using ground cameras is it's like traditional camera work. Set up, go, stop, set up, go, stop. And like I say, those of us who do a lot of drone work, the drone flies, moves around as you want to change direction. You just fly it over there right away and get what you want. But then again, you're only having that aerial perspective most of the time. You can bring it down lower and everything else, but then you got to worry about all the different hazards then. Okay, if I swing it around here, what's over there? Because I got to watch out for the tree, watch out for the building, watch out for that pole, all these different things. So that's what I say. It's good to have a variety of cameras at your disposal.
Yeah.
Like I said, I still use the GoPros. I have a little Fimi Palm. I guess I do have a regular little cheap little camcorder. It shoots at 4K 60. I got a variety of different things. So the 4K 60 one has an excellent night sensor on it. So I can take that out at night with very little light at all, put it hanging outside my car, which I did on one video about a year ago, and it took excellent footage. Just had it pinned against the side of the car, and I'm driving down the road, got my arm hanging out, freezing, and I'm just picking up all this great footage at night.
Yeah.
So
have you seen those cameras that they combine they're more like security cameras, but they combine like the infrared with regular footage, and so it like overlaps it, and then it changes like the green. It makes like the green infrared like black and white, and then it overlaps like color on top of it.
I haven't seen those direct. I know people have tried to use the new Mavic 3T and the M30T, and I have the M30T, and it's just how you use it. Me, I like when I use the infrared on my M30T, I like to use the white hot. That is more pronounced and more clearly easy to see when you're doing searches and things like that and everything. I know some people just flip through the color palette and they got it. And there's a way you can actually go in and change the range of the heat signature that gives that effect you're talking about.
Yeah.
Stuff. And it can have that off color. You might be in black and white mode, but if you go inside and actually change the heat register range, it will give you a third color for that heat register range on the Mavic 3T and Mavic 30T.
Oh, cool. So you can if like the heat map is showing like red and green and blue and these kind of Gatorade commercial colors,
right?
You can adjust those colors and say,
yes,
don't display red, I want to display blue here. Or
well, what it is you'll change narrow the band of heat that it picks up. Like say instead of being a wide band between like 32 degrees to 100 whatever, you narrow the band to where only show me heat signatures between say 75 to no more than 85 and stuff.
Okay.
So the background might still be black and white, but now it's going to show you a different color for a heat signature to fit that profile.
So if you're looking for something that's alive in the woods,
right?
Like the trees are cool, but like the person or the animal is like
right, something that heat range. Yeah, then that'll be a different.
That's cool.
Color. Yeah.
So for search and rescue, that's probably pretty neat.
Yeah, it is a nice way to use it, and there's a few people out there have demonstrated it on YouTube. So if you search for it, you can see people using the Mavic 3T and the Mavic 30T for that purpose. It gets a little distracting to me. When you really search, I gotta tell people when you do search and rescue, as a pilot, you want to focus on just flying. You don't want to get too wrapped up and trying to look at what's searching itself. That's why I get external monitors, and you have your observers as you're flying. You let them look at the ground footage and say, hey, go back up, swing left, swing right, and you look over that way because something caught their attention. Because like anything else, if you're the pilot, you want to focus on just flying because there's other things out there you need to be, looking at.
Can you have a cameraman on your drone? Like the
Yeah,
Inspire, one person can control the camera and the other person
yes.
can pilot?
Yeah, you can have a 2-camera operation for the M30T. I'm not sure about the Mavic 3T, but the M30T does allow for a 2-man operation, just like with the Inspire system.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
So do you have it with you right there? Can you show me how big it is compared to you?
Yeah. Hang on a second.
Make him mess up his beautiful background. I didn't know that curtain was clear. Like opaque. Is that the word? Opaque? Translucent? Oh, wow.
That is the beast right there.
That is huge. That battery. So
yeah,
those batteries look like they're twice as thick as the Inspire batteries. Is that right?
This is the batteries.
Dang. How much flight time do you have with 2 batteries?
I would say actual flying time. I would say you have a good 35, 36 minutes. That gives you enough time to bring it back home.
Wow.
Yep. And then I said it has a built-in strobe on it, top and bottom and stuff, along with other auxiliary lights right there.
So I see some sensors on the bottom. Does it have sensors all over?
Oh yeah, it's got the airflow sensors, infrared sensors on the bottom. Like I said, it's got the strobe on the bottom and landing lights, which you can have on full time or just when it lands.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So you could light the landscape. Well, I don't know.
I didn't catch that last one.
Oh, can you light the landscape while you're flying over it, or?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I have the system here. This is the accessory for the light.
Okay.
And stuff. So that's another almost say $2,000 for this.
So
it's a very loud speaker. It can probably cover about a quarter of a mile clearly. And for speaker noise, this right here attaches and it operates with the camera. So wherever the camera is facing is where this light is facing.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah. So it moves with the camera.
And then the speaker, do you have to hook up a walkie-talkie to your controller, or does it have a microphone on it?
Right here, plugged into the top of the drone. And then once that's the drone, you can do text to speech, or you can just talk into the remote, and it'll put broadcast out what you just said. And you can do it in other languages. So in other words, if I want to type in something, I said, say it in Spanish, Chinese, whatever else, it will say it in that language.
So it's got like a Babelfish on it. So like whatever you say, it'll like translate it into.
Yes, it will translate it. Yeah.
Does it sound like a robot?
No, it's got that computerized type of voice on it and stuff.
Yeah. Man, that's neat.
Yeah.
So I know when I've talked to you in the past, you do like fly around construction sites and the progress of building and stuff like that. What do you use that drone for? Is it the same thing?
This one I bought basically for potential thermal inspections on solar panels, things of that nature for that purpose, and for work I may have to do with PD down the road.
Okay.
So it's like I say, we're doing we're doing a search and rescue type deal, or we're looking for a suspect in an industrial area. This would be a excellent drone to use those situations. Because I said one thing on this thing is the zoom is just incredible. Even at nighttime, the zoom is just amazing.
How far?
It has 200 times hybrid zoom, and it doesn't get it has an optical on this one optical goes up to 18 times. After that, it's like a hybrid digital.
18 optical is pretty awesome for that tiny little gimbal.
Yeah, 18 optical. So like
Wow.
I said, when you first fire this thing up, the standard zoom for the zoom camera starts at 5 times, and standard zoom for the infrared starts at 2 times, and then you can back it off or increase it from there.
Can you run 2 cameras at the same time?
Oh yeah, the thing you can have this thing record up to 4 cameras simultaneously.
Okay, and
it record.
So if you're doing like infrared, and
Mm-hmm.
you want to zoom in with your zoom camera, does it zoom in the infrared too, so you can see what you're looking at?
Yes.
Okay.
It's like a compatible level of zoom.
It goes in at the same time.
Right, goes in the same time, and then the zoom has a lot less. I said not less. I said the infrared has a lot less ability to zoom as far as the standard camera, but it will go as far as it can.
Okay. So I know, like, there's the 250 grams where you have to register and you have to do part 107. Is there a, since that, like, I'm thinking of like a bus driver versus like an
additional license.
Is there, is there a stronger list license?
No additional license required for this other than your standard. If you want to buy this drone and want to fly for recreational purposes, knock yourself out.
Okay. So all the rules are the same.
All the rules are the same with this thing here.
If you were doing like search and rescue in like a national park, do you have to is there a special authorization to do that, or is it just call up the?
Well, then you're talking about. Like I said, now you're talking about specialized event. Okay, like here in my city, I do have an airport. I live just outside the airport range, but I would say 80% of my city is Class B airspace because of the airport. So I have a COA. Okay, I have a coverage of authorization, which that means I can fly anywhere in my city no matter what. So if I get called out or whatever case, in which I originally got my drones to do a construction inspection, which goes on right next door to the airport or sometimes in the bow tie area, I have a coverage of authorization, which means if I'm within about a mile of the airport, I need to call the tower, which is instructions on my COA, let them know where I'm at, how long I'll be up. And they always tell me, no problem, just call us when you're done, so the airspace will be clear for them. But like I say, it's having a COA is very helpful. That it covers all my drones. It's not specialized to this one drone. Every drone I have, I register with DJI. They add it to my list of drones. I have up to 7 drones on that list on my COA. So no matter what drone I break out, it will fire up and fly.
Nice.
No matter what. So I don't have to worry about trying to go through Lance or anything else. I have that COA and my drones are on that list. Like I said, long as I have my Wi-Fi hotspot on, it automatically says, okay, yeah, you're clear to go.
Have you ever had like Wi-Fi connection issues or like poor signal in areas and not been able to take off?
No, I mean, primarily I'm in an urban environment where I'm at. I don't go up in the boonies hardly at all.
Gotcha.
My little activities. So, I haven't had anything like that. I know a lot of guys talk about they live, outskirts and don't have cell service, which is going to be the challenge this year when we talk about remote ID. People be able to obtain a signal, and that's something that the FAA is going to have to work out. I mean, it's not a perfect system, what we're getting, but it is a starting point, and there's going to be bumps along the road, and that's one of them. Is that okay? What do I do if I'm not in an area to have a signal, or my signal doesn't register or whatever else? Is a drone not going to engage?
Yeah.
Or what? And that's a big worry for a lot of folks. So
yeah, I've seen some videos like the Avata is kind of like our first like trouble. Like it's almost like the DJI Avata is like a beta test for remote ID, because now people can't fly without hooking their
Well,
goggles to their phone or
I,
whatever.
yeah, I think that's just part of the hiccups with the engineers at DJI, because I've heard the same thing happen with people with the Mavic 3, where
Yeah.
they had a remote ID error pop up on the screen, and sometimes the drone may not engage, and then once they turn on their phone as a hotspot, no problem.
Yeah.
So I think that's more of a hiccup than it is an actual problem. And the same thing with the Avata. I think once we're going to have these hiccups, there going to be more firmware updates to clean up some of these problems and so forth. So we'll see how it pans out. It's like everything else. It's like everybody had to get used to Lance. I think everybody would get used to remote ID, and we'll just keep on chugging along from there.
Yeah.
It's just like everything else. Everybody's resistant to change. When they've been doing things the same way for quite a while.
Yeah. I don't really care about the change. I really don't care. Like, I've got a license plate on my car. Everybody knows who I am driving around. But
Right.
But like I'm also a UX engineer, so I'm user. I spend all my week like talking to users and trying to improve our applications and stuff like that.
Right.
And like DJI came out with this tiny little drone with tiny little goggles. Like, we've had remote controls forever with phones on them, and they decide to like hook the phone up to your goggles. So you had these goggles that didn't have any wires hanging down. Now you got this big wire hanging down with your iPhone 14 on it. And then turning, like knocking that wire out of your goggles, and I'm like,
yeah. Well, well, like I said, the guys who've flown FPV, it shouldn't be a big challenge for them, because I think you guys had the connection to the battery. Used to hang down unless you got the headband clip in the back.
Everybody's put their batteries on their head, but like
right
now we got to wear like our iPhone on our forehead.
Right. There'll be ways around it, a different little adapter.
I just don't understand why they didn't put it in the remote control instead of the goggles.
Yeah. Like I say, who knows what may happen down the road. My biggest thing is the third party people. Like I say, the drones I fly the most are my old Phantom 4 Pros. That's what I do most of my mapping work with. So my thing is, now the only company that's came out is Digi. Somebody has a couple of these remote ID devices out. One of them is about the size of an old pager. Now, we all know our drones don't have a lot of space on them to attach stuff on top.
Yeah.
So now you're talking about, because you got to have clearance for your props. You don't want to interfere with the GPS signal, which is mostly close to the top middle of most drones that are out there. You don't want to strap this thing to the bottom, because now you're covering bottom sensors of your drones.
Yeah.
So it's going to be the trick of where do I Velcro, tie, strap, glue, whatever, how you're going to put these little things on. Where do you put it at? So that's going to be the big thing with these third-party older drones. I think, like I said, with the list the FAA already has out, the drones that they've already approved as being remote ID compliant. Okay, everybody's going to be good as gold as far as that. But it's going to be the legacy drones that are no longer being manufactured. For what I've seen so far, all of my drones have gotten the firmware update that has the remote ID information in the menu system. Those of you who may not looked in there, go like I said, the old DJI Go 4 app, hit the three dots over to the right corner of the system. You get the menu system, and the very top one should be about remote ID. This is not the name your drone area. It would simply say remote ID info. And I'll ask for the drone's name. I'll ask for whatever your remote ID. That's the other thing I tell people is, as of right now, there is no standard for what your remote ID identification number will be. Now, I can sit here and guess and say that it may be your drone is registered. Your registration number may be your remote ID number. We don't know right now. The FAA has not said for sure what will be your remote ID number. It may come with that module. It may be additional number if you have a remote ID compliant drone already. That may be that number that comes off of that. But as of right now, today, there is no remote ID serial number. So when people say they've been going to the FAA website to register a drone, and I asked them, do they have remote ID? And some folks have said yes. And then I asked them for what the remote ID serial number is. There has not been a number issued. So when you register a new drone that you just bought, you want to say, no, you don't have remote ID because remote ID is not active. It will not become officially active until September of this year. I think it's September 23rd or 16th or 23rd is when the active date is. And hopefully a month or two before that, the FAA will let us know how do we obtain that serial number that is asking for us in the menu area. So I see that question a lot of Facebook groups. People are asking that question. Yeah, I just got this drone. Yada, yada. I went to register it. And I don't, where do I find the remote ID number? I say they haven't been issued.
Yeah.
That's what I say, Chris. Same thing is if you don't have one, and you continue registering the drone like you normally would.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope it's a little bit more put together than the way that like Trust came out. Whenever Trust came out, and you took a test and like you took the test, they gave you the answer, and then you wrote the answer, like then you put the answer in, and then you moved on.
Right.
Which was super easy. I wish Part 107 was like that. But but when they just opened up a web page and you got your license, and then you had to print it out yourself, and then it said save this because
they
you're never
weren't
going to
tracking
get
it from
the page again. And I was like, did they take it down? Do they even, is that they just give me a random little picture with a number on it, and I just show that to the cops and say, you know, I got my Trust badge, I got my junior woodchuck guidebook. I just
like I say, it was poorly I would say presented to the public. I think if the FAA wants everyone to at least have that trust in their pocket, they should at least say, okay, we have you registered in our system. So like I say, I go back and look at any of my drones that I registered, and I can go back and click on them and reprint out my registration number in case one gets
you can
destroyed.
log in and get all your information. Yep.
And I think it should be the same way. It should have been the same way with the Trust. That way, like I say, if thing gets wet or whatever, gets in the laundry or something, and you need to print out again. So now, if you lose it, gets mutilated, whatever, you got to go back and retake the test because it's not saved anywhere.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I downloaded the page and turned it into a PDF.
Yeah.
Just in case I lose it, I can print it out again.
Yeah.
Laminate it.
Yeah. Well, like I said, when everybody was taking that test originally, they weren't thinking about that. It's like, well, after a while, like, I should have saved that page. Like you say, turn it to a PDF, so I would always have it on my computer. I did, I keep a Google account, so I put it on my Google Drive, and I keep my, my recurrent test on there. I keep a copy of my insurance on there, and anything else important. My Part 107 certificates on there, just in case I don't have it on my wall. I left my wallet, so whatever I say, hey, here it is on my phone. There it is, officer, right there.
Yeah, I'm a graphic designer. All I got to do is take that PDF and put it in. I can put whatever number on there you want.
And I'll tell this little tidbit too, people. The FAA did announce just recently that it's called the LEAP program, which means Law Enforcement. I think it's Law Enforcement Assistance Policy or Program, which means local law enforcement will be the responding body to make contact with you initially. If a call comes out for somebody thinking you're doing something suspicious or saying you're doing something illegal, you will be contacted by your local authorities. And it's almost like the same thing with any other law enforcement when it comes to aviation or any other type of higher above agency like DEA, whatever. They'll take an initial report, and that report will be sent to the FAA, and then they will start the investigation up from that point to follow up with you based upon the officer's report that initially contacted you. So that's how the enforcement side will be taking place.
So if you got some lady at the park calling the police because you flew your drone around their kid, you better have your your flight
Oh,
path
yeah.
on your
Yeah.
app.
I'm just saying this. Just be prepared, and that's how the process will take place. Is that the officer, they don't have the authority to confiscate your drone unless you're really doing something, that violates local laws or state laws. But initially, they will just take a information report and forward over to the FAA, and they will follow up from there.
Yeah. All the altercations that I've had with cops when I'm flying my
Mhm.
drone, they're usually more interested in the drone than,
Yeah.
because like they know that like I'm flying at a place that's not, the on air map it's all green.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm not around any people. I'm not flying near people. So, but
Yeah, like I said, just a matter of just being prepared, and like I tell a lot of people, your attitude is going to dictate the outcome of any interactions with law enforcement. I'm prior law enforcement, and like I say, the encounter you have with me or any other officer is going to be dependent upon your attitude and how it goes. And I always tell people, I say, you know what, I'm just like a ride at Disneyland. You know, once you push the e-ticket, that's on you, because I'm the only one that gets to turn it off
yep.
after that point. So, I say you want to be, cordial and respectful. I'll be cordial and respectful, and we'll get through this and go along. And if worst case scenario, I can tell folks, you won't be going home, but I will.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. I'm like, officer has the authority to restrict your freedom. So that's what I tell folks. That's the decision you got to think about.
Right.
So just make sure, not that you have to be submissive, but just be professional. That's what I said, to be professional. You don't have to cower to the officers or whatever. Just be professional. That's what I say, by having your trust certificate. If you're a recreational flyer, if you're a Part 107, have your FAA card available. Keep a copy of your insurance available. All that kind of stuff. The more professional you present yourself, the easier things are going to go. Because, like you said, a lot of officers don't know the FAA rules and regulations. So all they're going by is word of mouth stuff. So if you present yourself in a professional manner and you show them, hey, I have this, I have that, and I have that, they're going to look to you as, okay, this guy knows what he's doing. So there's a very slim chance that he's doing something nefarious out here, that we should just go ahead and say, okay, we checked it out. He wasn't doing anything illegal as far as our local laws. He wasn't doing anything that we're aware of for a violation of FAA rules and regulations, and we just called it a day. And that's it.
Yeah, I think it's good what you're saying. Like make sure that you know what the rules are and you can instruct the officer as to what the rules are. And we all, a lot of us have like our checklists of what we, all the things we run down before we fly. Like we can add those rules to our checklist, saying, make sure there's no, you're not going to fly over a road that has heavy traffic on it. Make sure there's no people around. Make sure you check the altitude of the highest thing, like all those.
Right. And I would tell people, we're talking about drones here, but tell you the truth, anytime somebody has a camera in the public sphere, that makes people uneasy, no matter what. If you're using a little small handheld camera, GoPro, whatever, people start getting a little uneasy when they see somebody recording. Because they're wondering, why is he recording? Is he recording me? And, well, what am I doing? And all this kind of stuff. So a drone just adds a little more level of that anxiety to people, that say, now there's something up in the air that I can't walk away from. I can't, whatever, because it can follow me and spot me and all this kind of stuff. And it is just a level of anxiety that the public eventually one day will get used to it.
Yeah. I went up to there's an older lady. She was walking at there's a ballpark that I like to fly at all the time. And she was walking by, and or no, she wasn't walking by. She was sitting in like a pavilion that I was going to fly my Avata through it, but then I saw her sitting there. So I kind of flew around it. And then I went to talk to her afterwards. I just wanted to make sure that, that everything was cool. And I was like, well, I didn't mean to scare you if I scared you. And
Right.
She was like, I thought that thing was cool. And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
sweet.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Sometimes if you go out there and talk to the people, there are a few people around there that you can talk to people and let them know, hey, we're going to be doing this, blah, blah, blah. Don't worry. If you feel a little uneasy, we'll make sure we'll keep our activities over here and don't come too close to where you're at. And it's just no different if we were doing something for a Hollywood production. They would come out there and have people go out there and contact the local community and says, hey, we're doing some filming here. So you hear some car noises or crashes or loud noise, whatever. It's just us doing our thing for the set, you know. So no matter, it's not just after drone people. This is just type of activity that makes people a little nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So out of all your years of filming, what is your favorite thing that you've ever filmed? It could be a job, hobby, or whatever.
When I got the chance to do a job at the LA Coliseum and stuff, I had a job. It was a company that actually was building a new dorm just out right across the street from the Coliseum, but they wanted me to fly in from over the soccer stadium. They wanted me to come in from over across the soccer stadium, and then I actually took the shot myself of the Coliseum because they said they would show us some more beautification shots and stuff. And I kind of hate when people give you that kind of stuff. Say, oh, give us some more beautification. I said, because now you're talking about what's in the eye of the beholder. What looks great to me, then I say, what is this? What is this trash? You know. So you kind of like say, so when I did that, plus shot the area where this dorm was going to be built, and I sent them all the footage I had, they were like, this is awesome. Because now they're trying to put together a whole little, they call a portfolio for potential renters or all this kind of stuff for the dorm rooms and stuff. And they said, oh yeah, the shot over the stadium was great. That shot of the Coliseum where I backed out and got the view, because that dorm would be facing right across the street, right into the entrance of the Coliseum and stuff. So they used all that footage that I shot to put together in their portfolio. So I think that was one of the nicer ways. And that's when I think I shot that back in 2019 when I very first started doing work. Lucky enough to get that job, and it paid fairly nice. I think it's like a $500-600 job, and I used the Mavic 2 Pro. I shot it in the 10-bit D-Log and stuff. That's what they requested, and I just went out there and just did what I do.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
What's your did you say it's MT30? Is that the name of the drone?
Yeah, the M30T is one I held up.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the highest resolution that'll take?
It only goes up to 4K 30.
4K 30. Is that 10-bit?
No, I think it's going to be just 8-bit in that one, because it's basically an inspection drone. It's an enterprise inspection drone. It's not really made for cinematography type work. I used it a while back on a Christmas giveaway thing, just to see how well if I had to use it, how it would come out. It didn't do too bad, Yeah. Having that capable with zoom, but when you zoom in, you might as well just be hovering, because that's one thing I learned with this thing. As you zoom in, especially at that far distance, the slightest movement is like, whoa, whoa. Yeah, it's like he said, I bet he touched the sticks, and he's like, you have completely shot off the screen.
Yeah,
you lost your whole shot and stuff. So yeah, that was a learning experience in itself. That when you're zoomed in, even it might be 10, 15 times, you just might well just be hovering still and just focus on what you have in front of you, and that's about it. Because you start trying to do an orbit or whatever, a pan, man, that drone like it moved like 150 miles per hour all of a sudden. Boom. And stuff. But
when you're zoomed
other
in,
than that,
can you see the vibration? Like, does it matter?
No, it's very, very steady. Very steady. That's why I said it. The drone hovers, it is very steady. Very steady. So you don't see hardly any vibration at all in the footage I took and everything. But if you touch them sticks,
yeah.
The shot is gone. That is it.
Because I've noticed when I'm videoing handheld with a zoom lens, like you can see my hands shake
Yeah. Oh yeah.
in the
Yeah.
footage, and I'm like,
Yeah.
but you don't see that in like a normal shot. Like it's all nice and
No.
smooth. I got my elbows tucked in, and like
Right.
I'm doing it right. But
Yeah.
like with that zoom lens, you can see like me just kind of trying to hold it and hold it
Yes.
still.
Yeah. And let me tell you, at my age, I already got the slight little trembles already, you know.
Yeah,
So I'm
same.
like, okay, I got it on a gimbal. I got it on this. I'm like you said, got everything tucked in. I'm holding the monopod there. I'm like, oh, and
Yeah.
then you look at it later and like, what old man was holding the camera?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I changed I turned on a ND filter in the middle of a shot because I was like, this is way too bright. So I turned off. I just pushed the button, and you can see the whole camera like shake around in the footage. And I'm like, I should have just stopped it, put the ND filter on, and started again.
Yeah,
because I ruined that shot anyway.
Yeah, like I say, you know, that's why I tell these guys, I don't believe I know it all. I try to learn as much as I can, and I tell people, even people in this room can tell you, I look at everybody else's videos.
Yeah.
To get pointers and see what they're doing, how they're doing it, no matter what drone they're flying. I say if it's something I like, I'm gonna try to incorporate it in what I do also. You know, so like I said, I've commented on quite a few folks' videos, even in this chat, and let them know, hey, that was a good opening that you did there, or a good movement here and there, and everything else. I'm always about trying to encourage people, encourage folks to do good, keep doing the good things, you know, and go from there.
Yeah. Well, cool. You got any big plans for this new year?
Like for a person like me, Part 107 do work. I'm just hoping for more work, dude. Believe it or not, I had a pretty decent year last year, made some decent money, and it primarily was off of two different companies I worked for. There were long-term projects, which I like to do, long-term projects. I don't like the hustle of running from one job from here to there. I like doing jobs. I go out to the same locations once a month or twice a month, shoot my footage, and I'm out. You know, I don't want to be a road warrior. You know, I'd rather just be able to say, okay, I'm going to this location on every month for the next 16, 20 months. I'm going to this location second week of every month. Boom. Yeah. That way I get very proficient on what the drone needs to do and stuff. I get a chance to use programs like Drone Deploy, Litchi, stuff like that. So I can't help but start getting up that ultimate smooth footage, because now it's all automated and stuff, and going from there. So like I say, that's just me. I like that kind of process. That way, me being how I am, I can budget my money for any future purchases, because I know how much money I got coming in.
And it's steady pay as well.
Like I say, it's steady pay.
Like so a retainer every month you get this.
Right. Like I say, awesome. I'm going back out there. So I say, I tell folks that the drone work is feast or famine. Like I said, you can do the hustle game where you're picking up what we call the one-off work, where you'll do a job here, and then next you know, as soon as you finish that job, you're out there searching, seeing who else needs work, or you're out there recruiting, out there shaking hands, kissing babies for the next job, and everything else. I said, dude, call me with that long-term contract. I'll sign it, whatever. Sign the NDA. I'm like, cool. That way I don't have to worry about just shoot my footage, come back home, make sure everything's good to go, or check it out in the field, come back, upload to their website or whatever else, and that's it. I don't have to fool with it.
That's great.
So there's just two ways to look at it. A lot of guys like doing the one-off stuff. It is a lot of things that you get to do differently each time. Every job is different, or it can be different. But you know what I do, the mapping part, the progression work, that suits me just fine.
Yeah, I'd love to get something like that. Like I have a day job, so this is like my hobby, and like anything that I do for someone, like I'm filming a wedding, and what that wedding's going to do is just going to let me buy another camera.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like so I'm like you. I work a day job. I work for my city that I live in. And like I say, doing this kind of work I do, like I said, I schedule it. I work a 980 schedule, so that means every other Friday I'm off. So most time I tell these guys when they contact me, I say, hey, it's a construction job. I said, well, let's do it. Let me have you fly on a Friday or Saturday. That way, there's fewer people on the job site. Have to worry about those kind of hazards and situations and stuff if anybody's out there. And that way, I have the whole weekend to kind of get in. 'Cause like I said, we have to contend with weather conditions. Is it going to be windy, raining, heavy overcast, where one day is not a good day to fly, the next day might be perfect. So I always tell them, give me a 48 to 72 hour window to give you what you want. But using that 3-day window, I'm able to produce. I haven't missed a deadline yet. You know, and I said, I let them know. I said, hey, you know, the wind, especially up where I'm at the bottom of the Cajon Pass here in Southern California, and some of my jobs are right there, and we get gusty winds up to 60, 70 miles per hour sometimes. So it's like I've flown drones where the drone just doesn't move. You know, it's just barely hovering, and it's tilting like this.
Yeah, it's like almost sideways. Like,
yeah, almost sideways, just like this. And it's like, no, we're not flying today. You know, and that wind can pick up at any time of day. That's why, you know, in the summertime, I try to get out there at the crack of dawn because different things I learned. This is what I learned in the military. They call it the inversion layer, whatever it is. Usually changes right at dawn and right at dusk, and those are the most quietest, peaceful times of the day when the inversion layer changes and stuff. And that's why you'll get some of your nicest time to fly is in the very early morning or right at sunset. The winds kind of calm down if they've been blowing, because now the inversion layer is changing and stuff. So
I have noticed that. Like I'll go out to feed the cat in the morning, and it's like there's nothing happening. Then I'll go take my son to school, and then I'll come back. I'm gonna fly my drone before I get to work.
And like, where does wind come from?
Yeah, the wind is like crazy wind in my backyard. What's going on?
Yeah. And that is the change, and that was all I learned in the military, talking about the chemical weapon school I went to, about when you deploy chemical weapons.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and they say, well, you don't want to do it at this time, but you do it at this time.
Yeah, you don't want those chemicals blowing.
Come back at you, right? Yeah. You don't want them to come back at you.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So, so it's all kind of stuff. Well, I know you were talking about your camera, and I just wanted to chime in a little bit. I know Chris was talking about how you look on your new camera. Now, what camera are you using now? What you're showing you?
So, let's see. So this is basically the camera. I had it up. Where's it at? There.
That is what you're showing. That's what you're using right now, showing you.
Yep, it's about this small. It's tiny.
Okay, right.
If you're familiar with the Sony RX0, this is about 2 times, or the X5 that's on the Inspire. You know, the micro four thirds. It's just a tiny micro four thirds camera. This is Blackmagic's version of it.
Oh.
Now this one only shoots 1080p, which that's what I stream at.
Right.
But the 1080p coming out of this camera is way better than the 4K that was on that X5 camera.
Right, because the pixels are bigger, even though it's 1080p. You know, the pixels are bigger, so you get more saturation, even though it's 1080p. It'll look like a 2.7 or 4K.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is the kind of camera that like film crews would rig up on like a tire. Like, you know, watching the tire kick up dust on a car shoot, or like stick it next to the steering wheel, or like the karaoke, the carpool karaoke, where they've got the cameras in the corner of the windshield. That's what this camera would be.
Oh, okay.
But
now, I'm always thinking they're using GoPros.
Yeah.
Especially inside cars and stuff, because they got them mounted in the windshields and side windows and stuff. That's awesome.
Yeah, but they've got like a when they submitted this camera, you know, a lot of the shots were this. See, there's the camera on a Phantom, which I don't know that Phantom could carry that camera.
I had that Phantom with that gimbal system, and it worked great with a GoPro. That was the first type of Phantom I had, the Phantom 2, and I had that gimbal type of system that housed a GoPro. I think that camera might be a little bit heavier.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm not sure what drone this is.
It's too,
So
the body's too thin for the Sony Air Peak. It looks like I could be wrong.
yeah, they had like a yeah, I don't really know what drone that is,
Yeah,
but
it could be just a rendering, as far as we know.
yeah. But I saw a video on YouTube where a guy flew it on an FPV drone.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so now I'm trying to find the smallest pancake lens I can get for it. Oh yeah. Oh no, that's an Ari. That's an Ari camera. That's not it.
Yeah.
But yeah, just to give you an idea, that's kind of a field monitor, and that's how tiny it is.
Yeah.
And
I think it was I think Doble posted a picture. I think he just put together a center lifter, and he's going to put something maybe a little bigger.
He's putting the new Panasonic box camera.
Right, right.
It's like a $2,000 at Best Buy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm thinking you would want a FPV drone, something of that size, just to make sure you have. My thing is you don't want to have the bare minimum drone carrying a camera of that expense or just the use of it. You want to have something that can have enough power to keep pushing.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to put it on my Inspire.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know it could handle it.
Right.
And I like with Inspire, I can use Drone Link to run the mission. So
right.
I don't have to necessarily so I can get it to fly, 3 miles an hour, go really slow, point the camera like 30 or 60 degrees down towards the ground, do like an infinity focus on it, and then get like an amazing shot.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to figure out how to use like a tiny gimbal and do like flashlight and then strap that tiny gimbal to the bottom of the Inspire. That's kind of my thought process right now. But
okay.
And the landing gear, so I can I can lift it up off the ground, put the landing gear up, fly. So
yeah.
But I'm kind of steering away from putting things on drones. That was about all my channel was for a long time. But yeah, that's it right now. There's a bunk bed right in front of me that has like all my Rubbermaid storage containers on it, and then my 3D printers underneath it. And so I just have it clawed onto the bunk bed.
Right.
But yeah, it's got a micro four thirds sensor on it, or no, Super 16 sensor, micro four thirds mount.
Okay.
But
now I'm wondering who makes it now? Blackmagic?
Yeah, it's a Blackmagic.
Okay. I'm just wondering now. I know the Evolve 2. They're mostly, I guess they like to use Sony cameras or Sony lenses, I should say, on theirs, because I've seen some of their videos they put out. But you may have to just design something yourself that adapts to Inspire or some similar type of drone that Sony Air Peak or the Evolve 2.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Yeah, there is a gimbal for a drone that uses a GoPro mount to hook it onto, which I don't know if I'd ever want to put that much weight on two little
that's
fingers.
Yeah.
But I want to get a lens, a tiny little pancake lens, something like this to go on it, so it's not like the center of gravity is pretty
right. I was going to say you don't throw the center of gravity of the drone itself off.
But as long as it's balanced on the gimbal before I put it on the drone, it'll be fine no matter what I do. But I've taken the DJI Pocket, the Osmo Pocket,
right,
and I've run that on a smaller drone and put it in flashlight mode, and it works amazing. But so I'm just upscaling that idea a little bit.
That works.
But I need something like one of those helmet gimbals where it doesn't have the big handle coming off of the side of it. I just want like the top part. So we'll see.
Right.
But Draymond, I'm tired.
No problem, partner. I mean, it's still early for me, so don't let me hold you up. I know you usually get off by now because I think what's his name, Bill the Review is on now. So I'm pretty sure most folks are over in his channel. But I heard you talking tonight, and I said, let me go back here. I went to the page and posted a video, and I said, well, I see the little link here. Let me go and chime in real quick, say hello.
Well, thank you so much for hanging out, man.
Hey,
you're welcome anytime.
I appreciate that. You take care, Sean.
All right, see you, man. All right, y'all. That turned out to be a pretty cool stream. I'm glad Draymond came on, and go check out his channel, Recovery One Drones. This is the first test on the Blackmagic Pocket. Wait, no, it's not. Blackmagic Micro Cinema Camera. Chris and Brent said I look kind of greenish, so I'm going to play with the white balance again this week. It might have something to do with what's going on behind me, so I'm going to play around with that as well. I'd really like to get whatever's happening on these screens to change the lights so that the entire back wall is like the color of whatever is on those screens. So I'm going to try to figure that out. They're Philip Hue. So we're going to try to play around with that a little bit. But thanks everybody for hanging out. I was looking to see if I missed anybody's questions in here. Most people are just kind of talking to each other. And some people were asking Draymond some of his, some questions. I'll put that up there because that deserves merit. I'm always looking mighty fine. Appreciate that. I do think Chris is a suck up sometimes, to be honest. No, I'm not being honest. And I thought this was a pretty funny comment. Man comes up saying, my wife wants me to ask you if you're filming my kids. The drone is on the other side of the park, 200 feet away. Yep. The thing with like filming people in public, like that makes people uneasy, but there are cameras everywhere, like ATM, like security cameras. Like now everybody has cameras on their door, like all these doorbell cameras. So if you don't want to be filmed, go inside and then, turn the blinds on, like cover your windows. If you're in a public park, you are getting filmed all the time. There's all these TikTokers out there doing their latest little hand moves right around you. They're filming your kid. If your kid's going down a slide, there's nothing creepy that I can film about that. Okay. It's not like me putting a camera somewhere in like the bathroom or something like that. Like if you're in public, you're going to be filmed from somebody. I'm not going to put it on YouTube. I'm not going to put it anywhere. I have put kids on YouTube, but they're unrecognizable. And it's perfectly legal to put kids on YouTube if you blur out their faces. So if my drone is 200 feet away from you, there's no way anybody's going to recognize who that kid is. Unless you are going up and flipping off the creator that took that video or something. But I don't know where I'm going with that, so I'm going to stop. But I think this camera is going to work out really, really well. I think is a cheap alternative to the camera that I was using. I believe it's pretty crisp. If I can get the colors to work out right, it might be like when you might be comparing my logo, which is pure white, and the text that's in Melon, like this text right here, is pure white, right? But all of the whites in this, in what my camera is taking, is, it's not exactly white. That's what the so I'm going to play around with the color balance again this week. But I think for a live stream, I think this looks pretty good. And I'm really starting to dig Blackmagic. I think as for build quality and the menu system, I just think it's kind of a yuppie camera, and I kind of want to be a yuppie now. I'm just kidding, but it kind of is. It's one of those things where if you compare like clothes you get at Walmart or clothes that you get at like JCPenney's or something like that, Eddie Bauer, and then you go into like a LL Bean, and there's just this extra step of quality or extra step of polish or uniqueness. And I think Blackmagic is just there. And I'm kind of liking it. So I'm going to try, especially Project Decay. I'm going to try to make that as artistic as possible. So looking forward to it. So Chuck says, I love Blackmagic for editing. So DaVinci Resolve, but that's where the love affair ends. Yeah, I agree with that. The Blackmagic cameras work so well with DaVinci Resolve. It's crazy. Like part of my workflow now is taking videos that I recorded from my camera, putting them through Resolve before I open up Final Cut Pro. Chris, that is a really, really long title. Okay, so that's a horrible shot of the top of my head. Had a bad hair day. All right, so the Chris put up that the color science on the right. So this is like the gold standard according to Chris. Okay, the night that I filmed this, the blue is very blue. My skin tones are correct, and my stream tonight I look jaundice. So I need to try to adjust my camera, my new camera, to look like this live stream. I agree with you, Chris. I think the color on the link that you were talking about looks great. I totally agree with that. So I'm going to keep that in mind and get my color on this camera to look like that. Actually, while y'all are here, let's try that. Yeah, let's try that. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to play with it a little bit. I think I'm gonna have to adjust the colors in my Roland or go through a field monitor, because where I had it, the white balance was all the way warm, and now the white balance is like more towards the cool side. So let's see if I'm going to see if it's doing anything. Just give me a second. Yep. I'm gonna have to play with it, y'all. I think it's the differences in color. I don't know if I can put a look oop table. I'm just kidding. I don't know if I can put a lookup table in there or not. But I've got several different field monitors where I can put lookup tables in myself. So I'll play around with that. But yeah. What's up, Gary? Welcome to the chat. You made it just in time for me to say goodbye. That's all right. We'll talk in February. But yeah, hope you guys like this video. I'm still going to play around with the color. I don't think there are color profiles in here, but there might be a workaround. So anyway, hope you guys like this video. Please like, subscribe to my channel. Click on the bell for notifications. We want to put out more live streams, more videos on Blackmagic, regular cameras, action cameras, drones, all the good stuff, y'all. Have a wonderful day. Peace out.